So let's look at focus question number 1. You see that we're given a graph. In order to write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form from a graph, we must know two things. First, we must know the slope of the line, and we also must know the y-intercept. Now, they say step 1 is to find 2 points on the graph. One of those points, to make it easier for yourself, is to use the y-intercept. I see the y-intercept is right here. Then look across the line and find another point on that line that crosses the grid lines, both the vertical and horizontal one. I see one right here. So the coordinates of those points, you could either just use the coordinates and the slope formula, like the one that's given here, to find it, or you can just count it out, as long as you're going from the leftmost point to the rightmost point. Here's our left point, and here's our right point. The rise or fall from those 2 points is we have to fall, so we know our slope is going to be a negative. And how far did you fall? 1, 2, 3. So -3, and then over, if we run to the right, 3. Well, -3 over 3 is equal to -1, so our slope is -1. The other method you could have done instead of counting it out is by choosing the points and using that slope formula. I find this difficult for most students to do, so I usually just tell them to count it out. But I'll go ahead and demonstrate it just in case you prefer that method. So to find, what you would do is write down the coordinates for each one of those points. So I'm going to look at my y-intercept. The y-intercept is at +1, 0, and the other point on the line is at 3, -2. Make sure you do have it in that order, because whenever you're plotting a point, you have to go along the x-axis before the y-axis. So the slope formula says you take your y2, which is that -2, and you subtract or minus the opposite, or keep change. So add the opposite, which is still 0. You don't really change the sign of a 0. 3 plus the opposite of, so it'd be -1. -2 plus 0 is still -2 over 3 over 3 and -1 equals a +2. A negative over a positive equals a negative. 2 over 2 is 1. So we still got -1. The y-intercept you already have established, that's at 0, 1. So our b value is +1. Now we take those two elements, the slope and the b value from the y-intercept, and we plug it into our equation. So y is equal to mx, m is -1, plus b, or just 1. Sorry, that is supposed to be a 1 there. Plus 1. So that's your final equation. What you are expected to write is your final answer. You don't have to write the 1 in front of the x. You can just write -x plus 1. But if you do write the 1 in front of the x, no one will count you wrong. They know that that's the equivalent answer. Let's look at another example of this. I'm going to continue by just counting out my slope rather than using the slope formula. I think that's still quite a bit easier as long as you're given a graph. I will find that y-intercept. So I'm going to probably switch step 1 and step 2 around just to make things a little easier. Our b value is at -3. So I know that this is supposed to be a -3 here. I'm just going to cross off that positive for right now. And I need to find another point on the line. Well, I don't have any more points to the left, so I need to look through points at the right. It looks like it crosses right here. I start with my leftmost point and say, okay, it looks like I need to fall down to get to my right point. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had to fall 4. So -4 over 2. Negative 4 over 2 equals negative 2. So my slope is negative 2, and that's what you'll write in front of x. So your final answer is y is equal to negative 2x minus 3. Now it's your turn to practice. Go ahead and do the group practice problems. I'm going to answer 2 of them at a time, so if you want to push pause in between each one, if in case you do make mistakes and need to go back and fix your work, you can. So go ahead and push pause, solve the first 2 problems, then push play to check your work. Alright, let's see how you did on the first 2 problems. The first step is to find that y-intercept. There it is at negative 1. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my equation. Y is equal to, I know it's mx, I'm just going to leave a spot there, oops, for my slope value that I'm going to plug in right there, plus b, or b is our y-intercept, which is that negative 1 that we just found out. Now I need to find my slope, so I have to find another point on the line. I'm going to choose this point right here. You might have picked one, let's say down here. Doesn't matter which one you use. I don't see maybe any more of them. Maybe right here you could have chose that one. Doesn't matter, any 2 points that you choose. If you go from the left to the right, you'd have to rise up 1, 2, 3 and run right 2. No matter which 2 points you choose, or you'd have to reduce that fraction. So there's your final answer. Y equals 3/2 x minus 1. Problem number 2. Again, I know I'm supposed to get that y equals mx plus b form. I'm going to find my y-intercept, which is right there. It's at a positive 3, so I know it's going to have a positive 3. Y equals something x plus 3. I need to find my slope, so I need to find another point on the graph. I see one right here, or maybe you would have chose that one right there, or one right there, or even one right there. So you have many possibilities on this one. You just need to find 2 points that are on the line that pass the graph lines. If you use any of the left points, it looks like you'll always have to go down 2, so negative 2, and over 1. If you would have chose points that are further away from each other, you still would have had to go down and over, and you would have gotten some fraction that you would have to reduce. Let's use that example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'd have to go down 8 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, which still reduces to negative 2. By the way, this could also be written as y is equal to, because it's over 1, negative 2x plus 3. That would probably be its simplest form, and if you were on the ECA, that would be the answer for your multiple choice answers. So just wanted you to be able to recognize you don't have to write that 1 under it if there is one. Go ahead and do the next 2 problems and then check your work on those. Okay, you ready for question number 3? Again, you're trying to get that y equals mx plus b form. So y is equal to some number x, and let me find our y-intercept. Looking on here, I guess we're supposed to assume that that's our y-intercept up here. So that's at a positive 5. And we need to find another point on the line that's on the crosshairs. You could have chose that one. You could have chose that one. This one here, or this one here, or even that one there. So many to choose from again. But no matter what, we're always going down 2 and over 1. So you could write y is equal to negative 2x plus 5. Problem number 4, your y-intercept is right here at that negative 2. So we know there's a minus 2 in there. Just go ahead and set it up so I leave a spot for my slope. I need to find another points on the line. I see one right here, and I think that's it. I don't think any of that line crosses any of the other crosshairs. Okay, so going from left to right, we know we have to go up then. 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. So 4 over 1, or y is equal to 4x minus 2 would be your final answer, simplified. Go ahead and do the last two problems, then check your work. Alright, you ready? Your y-intercept is down here at -5 this time. So y is equal to x minus 5. We need our slope, so find some more points on that line. We go up and up and up. It doesn't look like it crosses until you get clear up here, and that's the only other one. So we have to rise. How many do we rise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And run 1, 2, 3, 4. And it doesn't reduce, so that's your final answer. Alright, final practice problem of this lesson. Again, start off, find your y-intercept. It's down here at that -3, so I'm going to write -3, put an x here to leave a spot or leave some room for my slope. Y is equal to, and I need to find some more points on the line. Well, it crosses here, 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 so lots of points here. But it doesn't matter what 2 points you start, which points you use, you're always going to go up 1 and over 1. So 1 over 1 or just 1. Y is equal to 1x, or you can just write x minus 3. Alright, that concludes the lesson.